Okay, how much will my timber frame cost? My usual answer is all depends. Depends on everything that you need, and I don't know what you're going to need. My friend came up with this spreadsheet, and this is a shot of the summary page, which is sheet number 1. And when you're on this page and you want to go to one of these other sections, you just click on that section. For example, you want to go to timber frame. You just click on that and it takes you right to the timber frame section. You get back to the main page, you can either click on the job estimate or you can click on the sheet number down below. In some cases, you may already own the land, so the land cost may not be an item that you want to enter. You need to get your building plans, engineering estimates, permits, surveys, layouts, and get your site work done, whether you're doing it yourself or hiring it out. It's going to cost something, and you can enter these values over here. Now let's just say you have a tree service come in and they're going to tell you that it's going to be $4,000 take down those trees. You need to enter into the quantity column 1 because that's a one line item, and then he actually goes out and does the job, and in the middle of the job you see something else that needs to be taken down, and he says, well, that'll be an extra $200. So the actual cost would be $4,200. This we can see when we go back to the summary page that we have a difference, and you're now running $200 in the hole over budget. Actual costs and estimated costs can vary. And when you use this and run through all of the items in all of the sections and all of the pages, and you get your estimates and then come back with your estimates and then your actual, you can keep track of exactly what's going on with all of your items. When you get to a section, I can get this all on one screen, it would be great. There we go. It's not all of them will fit on. Let's go down to 75%. Gotta go smaller. Let's go to 65%. Okay. Guess I gotta do that for each page. Now for windows, because I don't know what size the windows are gonna be, you know, it could be a 3.0, 6.0 by 6.40, 6.0 window, and you're gonna have 3 of them, and they cost $179 a piece, which I don't know what they cost, but I'm just using an example. I got an extra 6 in there. that gives you the total. And the other thing I wanted to look at, let's go back to, it'd be electrical. Let's say you have in your electrician comes in and he says, well, I see all what you want to do with your kitchen and your bathroom and your bedrooms and every place. The job's going to be $5,000. So you can just enter one under other and put in your $5,000. If you don't know individual items, if you don't know what they are, and he's going to take care of everything, you can just use a column or a line that says other. And that way you can exterior finishes, storm doors, storm windows, front steps, back steps, wood deck. Now the last few pages may not be something that you deal with because you're a homeowner and not a contractor. General cleanup, callbacks. If you get to go back to do extra work, you may have to enter values in here, and any of this debt service or marketing costs may not apply to a homeowner. But if we can see, we've got some entries in here and how it's already added them all up. Kept track of it. And we can go back to timber framing. We have materials. With deck framing, he usually built conventional timber frame deck. Well, a conventional 2x deck. He'd buy lally columns and steel plates, and then he'd put up sills and beams to hold them up, joists and hangers and subfloor, and then he'd stand his timber frame up on that with a pocket in the corner for the post to go down and sit on blocking. Here are some of the things that we need to consider as timber frame: timbers by the board foot, trucking from the planer to the shop. In other words, he would buy timbers already planed, so they come from the planer mill to his shop. He'd end seal the timbers. He'd truck them from the shop to the site. These are all expenses that have to be considered. If you had to buy additional tooling for a special job, crane costs, and others. When we look at this as a printed page, it prints out to an 8.5 by 11. Every single page is always that way, so that you can then take these pages, and if you were going to go to the hardware store and you were going to buy hardware, lally columns, underlayment, shingles, studs, joists, rafters, whatever you're going to buy at the store, you could take this and write them right in. And then when you come back to your computer, you come to this page and you enter in these materials and these costs. And he arranged this in the order that he would work the job. In other words, he's going to buy the land and he's going to do the preliminary work, which is the building plans, engineering, permits, surveys for laying out the lot, temporary electrical service, dumpster, maybe go into that temporary, on-site porta potty might go in there. And the demolition or the site work, if there's an existing building and they need to tear it down, would come under demolition, and everything right through until you're ready to start building. Some of the other categories: sewer hookup, if you're going to be on town and sewer hookup. Like sometimes you might have a flat fee of $5,000 to hook up to the town sewer system, or if you're doing an individual septic system and you get a cost estimate there that it's going to be $20,000 to hook up or create your own. If you're going to dig it yourself, then you'd have all these other general items that you'd purchase: concrete and masonry, deck framing, building the deck, the labor costs. If you're going to frame enclosure house with stress skin panels, now let's say you're going to do stress skin panels, but you're going to do 6.5 inch. You can come right in here and just change this line. This is all customizable to whatever you need. And then there's usually always a section for others. So if you have some other items not carried here, you can enter these values or these labels in here and carry them over yourself. The labor to cut out the panels, if you're going to cut your own window holes or if you buy them already cut, and if the company that's supplying them is going to bring them in and hang it for you, you could have that in here as well. Framing materials for if you weren't going to do a timber frame and you were just going to build a standard house, you could probably use this as well. We've been through the windows and doors list, additional trim items, framing labor, how much it costs to create the deck, the walls, how much to put in all of these things. These are all items that you can estimate. If you're a contractor, you know how long it's going to take you to sheathe the roof. Depends on how many square it is. You can figure that out. Put in an estimate here so that you can come up with a price at the end. You can get your installation company to come in and just give you one price. It's going to be $10,000 to insulate the house. You have to put a 1 in the column, get it to carry forward. In Massachusetts, we have a 5% sales tax. That's why this tax line comes in here. When you purchase, it's up now to 6.25%. So this would have to be changed to 6.25. Oh, that's the sales tax for everything. Certain items are exempt, like food and I think clothing are exempt. But that's something you have to consider when you're buying these things. Here in northern Massachusetts, I run over to New Hampshire where there's no sales tax. I buy everything over there and bring it back. So here's another gypsum. If you're going to have a sheetrock company come in and sheetrock your walls, you can put you can put the job cost right in. If you're going to buy them all yourself and hang it yourself, then you can do that. Stair treads, balusters, baseboards, finishing off the interior if it was a house, interior finishes, kitchen cabinets and vanities are so varied. So You could just have a cabinet company give you a job price for putting in all your cabinets. If you're going to build them yourself, you can estimate your own costs and enter them in here as well. Interior labor, finish flooring, how much it's going to cost to carpet it, if you're going to carpet it. Plumbing would be a single line item most likely. And your heating, if you're going to have a gas furnace or a gas boiler. We've been through electrical. Paint and staining, if you're going to have the house painted interior or exterior by a painting company, or if you're going to do it yourself, you're going to buy the materials. Appliances, utilities. So pretty much everything is figured in here. Exterior finishes and labor to install them. Finished landscaping, as if it was a turnkey situation. And as I mentioned, everything comes back to the summary page. So then you'd have a percent for overhead. If you were a contractor, you'd have your construction cost. You put in a percent for your bid for profit, and then you'd have your bid price if you were a contractor. That's pretty much it. But I thought it was an excellent list. And when we printed it out, it wasn't anywhere near this format. It was just, it would run right off the edge of the page and go on to the next page. So when I got it, I said, this needs to be made so that each sheet is its own page, so that you can print it out and you can take it with you to go to the store to figure out what you need, how many of them that you want. The end.